Welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we're going to take a look at the history of the NASCAR point systems. From 1949 to 1951, points were issued per the amount of prize money awarded. Points were awarded only to the top 14 finishers of each race. A driver was awarded 25 points for every $500 in winnings. This system saw half points being awarded to drivers. The Southern 500 was worth $25,000 or 1,250 points to the winner, which was significantly more than other races, which were typically in the 200 to 300 point range. In 1952, the points format went through a minor revision. Points were still awarded based off prize money, with 25 points for every $500, but the points were spread out across the top 25 rather than just the top 14. Additionally, prize money was rounded to the nearest 1,000 when calculating points. This eliminated half points. This format was used through 1967. In 1968, NASCAR introduced a new points format that they would use through 1971. They went to a mileage-based point system. Points were awarded based off how long the race was, rather than how much the race paid. Points were awarded for 1st through 50th. The winner would receive 50 points for races under 250 miles. Races between 250 and 399 miles, the winner would receive 100 points. And races over 399 miles, the winner would receive 150 points. In 1972, NASCAR changed the points to an equal base points for every race, regardless of length or how much it paid. Like the previous system, points were awarded to the top 50. The winner would receive 100 base points, and then each spot down dropped 2 points. But unlike the previous system, bonus points were awarded for laps completed. The points awarded depended on the length of a lap. If the track was less than a mile, you would receive a quarter point, times the number of laps completed. If the track was 2.5 miles or larger, you would receive 1.25 points, times the number of laps completed. The 1973 point system was exactly the same as 1972, except the winner got 125 points instead of 100. But second still received only 98, and each position down was still 2 points less, all the way down to 2 points for 50th. Just like in 1972, the same bonus points were awarded for laps completed as in 1972. In 1974, NASCAR went to a purse-based point system. This system took race winnings times number of starts and then divided by 1,000 to get a points total. In 1975, NASCAR enacted their longest ever running point system. This system would run through the 2003 season. The system was commonly referred to as the Winston Cup system. Equal points were awarded for each race, with the winner getting 175 points. Positions 1 through 6 saw a 5-point difference. Positions 6 through 11 then saw a 4-point gap, and then positions below 11 had a 3-point gap. This system allowed for points up to 54th place. Drivers' points were only awarded to the drivers that made the race. However, owners' points were determined based off of finishing position in the race, except for the cars that failed to qualify. They were given owners' points based off qualifying position. Additionally, 5 bonus points were given to a driver that led a lap, and an additional 5 bonus points for the driver who led the most laps. In 2004, NASCAR introduced the Chase for the Cup. This system was designed to give a 10-race battle for the championship amongst the top 10 in points after the first 26 races. There was also a provision that allowed a driver outside of the top 10 to be included as long as they were within 400 points of the leader. However, this rule was never needed. NASCAR used the same basic point structure as before, except the winner's total was increased by 5 points, resulting in the winner receiving 180 points. This had no impact on second. Second still received 170, with the 5-point gap down to 6th. After the 26th race, NASCAR would then reset the top 10 in points for the chase. First place received 5,050 points, and then each position had a 5-point gap. This format was used through the 2006 season. In 2007, NASCAR made minor changes to the chase. They expanded the field from 10 to 12 drivers. Additionally, after the 26th race, each driver had their points total reset to 5,000. And then 10 bonus points were awarded for every win a driver had. Thus, the driver with the most wins would start the chase first, rather than the driver that finished highest in the points in the regular season. The 400-point exemption was removed, locking the chase to 12 drivers. The same point structure was used, but like 2004, the winner's total was again increased by 5 points, this time to 185 rather than 180, and then second still only received 170 as in previous years. Also, the same position points gaps remained the same. In 2011, NASCAR changed their point structure again. 43 points were awarded to first with a 1-point difference for each position. Then there was a 3-point bonus for winning a race. There was 1 bonus point for leading a lap and 1 bonus point to the driver who led the most laps. So while the winner was technically awarded 43 points, they actually got at least 47 points because they got 3 bonus points for winning, plus they led at least a lap, so an additional 1 point. The chase system was also altered to take the top 10 finishers in points after the 26th race, and then they also added 2 wild cards. The 2 wild cards were drivers with the most wins ranked 11th through 20th in points. The 12 drivers' points are reset to a base of 2,000 points. The top 10 automatic qualifiers on points are given 3 points for each win. However, no bonus points are awarded for the 2 wildcard drivers. In 2014, a new chase system was introduced, expanding the field to 16 drivers. If a driver won a race, they were automatically in the chase, and then the remaining spots that weren't filled with winners were determined based off the highest driver in points without a win. The same point structure was maintained as with the previous year. A driver in the chase who wins a race is advanced to the next round automatically, regardless of points. After the first 3 races in the chase, the bottom 4 drivers in points who didn't win a race are eliminated, cutting the field to 12. Drivers who missed the first cut keep their point total. The remaining 12 drivers are reset to 3,000. After the next 3 races, 4 more drivers are eliminated, cutting the chase field down to 8 drivers. After the second cut, the drivers who missed it have their points reset to their amount after the first cut, plus their point total accumulated in the second round. The remaining 8 drivers' points are reset to 4,000. Again, after the next 3 races, 4 more drivers are eliminated, cutting the field to 4, setting up a 4-driver battle for the championship in the final race. After the third cut, the advancing drivers' points are reset to 5,000, while the drivers that failed to advance have their points reset to their total after the first cut, plus their points accumulated the previous 6 races. Confused? Well, yeah, it's a little confusing, and trust me, it ain't getting any easier going forward. So, to recap, eliminations occurred after race 3, 6, and 9 of the chase. This shrunk the field of 16 down to 12, 8, and 4, setting up a 4-driver battle for the championship in the final race. The driver of the remaining 4 who does the best in the final race is crowned the champion. Additionally, bonus points are not earned by the championship 4 in the final round. In 2016, NASCAR reduced the race field from 43 cars down to 40, so the point structure was modified to align with this. The winner would receive 40 points with a 1-point gap per position. The same bonus points were awarded, with 3 points for a win, 1 point for leading a lap, 1 point for the driver who led the most laps. The chase format was not changed. In 2017, the points format stayed the same with 40 points to the winner and the same previous bonus points still awarded. In 2017, NASCAR changed the chase for the Cup to the playoffs, but the format remained widely the same. Also, the top 10 finishers in each Daytona duel race will now earn points. This is the first time since 1971 that the duel race is awarded points. NASCAR also introduced stage racing in 2017. Stage 1 and 2 are usually around a fourth of the race distance, while stage 3 is usually roughly the last half of the race. Points are awarded to the top 10 finishers in stage 1 and stage 2, with first getting 10, all the way down to 10th getting only 1 point. Additionally, the winner of stage 1 and stage 2 are awarded 1 playoff point. The race winner gets 5 playoff points. The Coke 600 is split into 4 equal stages, with the same bonus points awarded in stage 3 as with stage 1 and 2. Additionally, more playoff points are awarded for regular season finishing position for the top 10. First gets 15 points down to 10th, who gets only 1 point. Playoff points are awarded to drivers points total once the playoffs start and are carried throughout each round even after the points reset. Playoff points are awarded throughout the playoffs up to the final race. This is still the current format used. So now, I think NASCAR uses a points format that is too complicated and confusing. You almost need to be a mathematician and use a complicated formula to calculate points now. You need a format that is easy to understand. NASCAR has a base pointing system, then they have a playoff system. And then there's a stage system that awards points for both the base points and the playoffs. It's truly quite confusing. It's hard to attract new fans when you have a point system that is difficult for even current fans to understand completely. First though, let's talk about stage racing. A driver can score more points than the winner in a race. Not just more, but at most 19 points more before bonus points. Or 47.5% of the winner in this scenario. If a driver wins stage 1 and then 2, and then finishes second, they would score 59 points. If a driver finishes 11th or worse in stage 1 and 2, and then wins the race, they only get 40 points before bonus points. This is stupid. It doesn't matter where you run in the middle of the race. It's all about where you are at the end of the race. In 2018, after the Daytona 500 that was won by Austin Dillon, Dillon came out of that race third in points. 11 points behind Ryan Blaney and 3 points behind Joey Logano. Rewarding drivers for running well throughout a race isn't inherently bad, but a driver who wins the first race should be first in points after that first race. But you also shouldn't be able to get more points than the winner of the race just because you ran good at the beginning and in the middle. Now, I hate when people compare NASCAR to other sports, but I'm going to do that this one time because it's truly a valid comparison. NASCAR insists on trying to be like other sports, and it just shows how asininely stupid this actually is. This would be the equivalent of the NFL rewarding a losing team more than a winning team because they were leading for the first 3 quarters of the game, but lost the game in the last quarter. The idea of a driver being able to score more points than the winner is stupid. People said it was stupid in the old format, where a second could tie the winner on points, and NASCAR has now actually made the problem even worse. Most people say wins should matter, and I agree, wins should matter. The problem with the system from 1975 to 2003 was second place could get the same amount of points as the winner. Wins should matter, but you shouldn't be able to win, say, 3 races with an average finish of 15th and have that matter more than someone with 1 win and an average finish of 6th. Wins should matter, but so should consistency. In racing, there are many things that exist outside of a driver's control. To eliminate everything a driver did through 35 races and have it come down to 1 race to decide it all, that's just stupid. People love to compare NASCAR to other sports and say you have to win at the end of the season when it matters. The thing is that NASCAR isn't other sports. NASCAR is racing. if you're going to compare NASCAR to anything, then at least compare it to another racing series. If you do compare it to other racing series, I think you'll find that NASCAR is the only racing series that uses a playoff format. Why? Because it's stupid. Here's a hypothetical fatal flaw with the system. And yes, I know it's an extreme and probably will never happen, but it proves a point because it can happen. A driver can win the first 35 races and then have one bad race in the last race. And by bad race, I mean they finish second. And they could lose the championship if the winner is one of the other championship 4 drivers. They would lose that championship with an average finish of 1.03. Yes, it's an extreme, but the fact that it can happen is the problem. It's kind of hard to accurately compare this because the chase and playoff format has evolved and had so many changes. But for simplicity, I've clumped 2004 to 2021 into one format for statistical purposes, and this gives you a simple way to look at a season-long format and a format that resets points. If you look at the point system from 1975 to 2003, average finish was the king when it came to determining a champion. 24 of the 29 years, the driver with the highest average finish was the champion. Also, 16 of those 29 times, the champion was the driver with the most wins, or tied for the most wins. A perfect point system for racing should reward winning while also rewarding consistency. In the 1975 to 2003 format, 16 of the 29 years, 55.17%, the driver with the most wins won the championship. In the chase playoff format, used since 2004, 10 of the 18 years, 55.56%, the champion had the most wins. So the two formats reward winning around the same amount. The current format rewards it marginally more, but it's negligible. When you look at average finish or consistency, though, the old format rewarded that 24 of 29 times, or 82.76%. In the chase playoff format, it rewarded that consistency only 6 of the 18 times, or just 33.33%. So the two formats reward winning about the same, but the old format rewarded consistency 49.43% more than the chase playoff system. Neither of those systems were perfect, but I don't think it would be fair to say that the previous system was worse at crowning a true champion. The question then, with these numbers, is why the playoffs? Why would NASCAR use a system that is so fundamentally flawed at rewarding consistency while being about the same at rewarding winning? The answer comes down simply to one word, and that word is entertainment. NASCAR is less of a sport than it used to be. Its primary focus is on entertainment, and NASCAR has said this. It won't change the playoff format because it creates drama. Artificial drama, but drama. What is drama good for? Boosting TV ratings and getting people talking about NASCAR. Having 4 drivers having a chance to win the championship in the final race is dramatic. But let's not confuse drama for special. Having 4 drivers battle it out for the championship every year isn't special because it happens every year. If it didn't, then it would be special. But it creates drama for TV to play off of and draw people in. The question is, how much of racing and being a sport should NASCAR sacrifice for the sake of entertainment? NASCAR is too much of a focus on entertainment, like how they tried to make qualifying entertaining with the implementation of knockout qualifying. The problem was that with the aero package at some tracks, it doesn't work because of drafting, and nobody wanted to be the first car out because you were at a major disadvantage. Qualifying isn't supposed to be entertaining. The point of qualifying is to set the field with the fastest cars first and slowest cars last. If you can make qualifying entertaining, then great. But not at the expense of it not doing what it's designed to do. Similarly, a point system's job isn't to be entertaining. It's to create a way to determine a champion. Again, if you can make it entertaining, then great, but not at the expense of crowning champions over more deserving ones. Where does entertainment belong in NASCAR? Well, simply racing. Racing is the entertainment. This lies in car development and rules packages that make for close competition. That is exciting racing. The only thing that was wrong with the points format used from 1975 to 2003 is that it didn't put a huge focus on winning. And then it didn't create drama because it rewarded drivers who worked hard and had great seasons and allowed them to win a championship before the final race. Some people look at that as boring. I look at that as looking at someone who had such a great year that they were able to do that. Instead of changing the points format to create artificial drama, they should create rules that tighten up the competition and make everybody closer. That will then tighten up the points. Under the current format, you don't have to be the best. You just have to be good enough to get to the final race and then be the best of those 4 drivers in that race. Some drivers are better at certain types of tracks. Drivers aren't always on the same playing field. Drivers have different talents and skills, and bringing the points down to one race on one type of track limits some drivers' ability to do good. If NASCAR the final race or road course, fans would get mad because it heavily favors road course specialists. If they had it at Daytona or Talladega, it would favor whoever is good at pack racing and whoever gets lucky. It's no different than if they leave it the final race at Phoenix or if they move the final race to Homestead. When it's in a one race shootout points format, it just doesn't matter. This is why having a format that looks at the whole of a driver's work can be better at painting the picture of how good their season was, instead of just one race. With 6 road courses on the schedule, would it be fair to have a road course ace come in, win all 6 races, while then finishing 18th to 25th on all the ovals for an at best average finish of 15.17, and then say he was the best because he had the most wins? No. Kevin Harvick said the system was skewed towards entertainment and that he'd rather win races and that a championship was just, quote, a bonus. The problem is, drivers don't even care. So why should NASCAR? Here's what I see as a better points format. First, get rid of stage racing. It ruins strategy, especially at road courses. And I don't like the idea of someone getting more points than the winner because they just ran well in the beginning and middle of a race. Outside of pack races, I also just don't feel that there's much need to incentivize drivers to run up in the front. Drivers want to be in the front and are going to try to get there. Track position is king. I would keep the same basic point structure as they use now, except the winner gets 46 points, second would then get 39, and then every position down is a 1 point drop down to 1 point for 40th. Additionally, 1 bonus point for leading a lap, 2 bonus points for leading the most laps. So this gives the winner a minimum of 47 points, while second would then get at most 42. This then gives the winner at least a 5-point benefit over second, and then thus rewarding winning. You could even increase the first place by even more points if you want to reward winning more. That's how you reward winning. By bringing back bonus points for most laps led, you provide incentive for drivers to run up front like you have with stages. But again, I don't really feel there's a need to incentivize drivers running up front. Track position is king. Drivers want to be in the front. There's no playoffs. Points are carried throughout the whole season with no resets. However, I'm not completely opposed to the 2004 through 2006 chase format with a reset with the order remaining based on points totals. If a reset were to happen, I think it would be at least 12 drivers, but no more than 16. I would prefer the season-long format, as a season-long points format is just fairer to me. So now, these are just my thoughts. And now, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the NASCAR points format? What format do you think was the best? What would you change about the points format? Let me know. What do you think down in the comments? Thanks for watching, and until next time, so long, everybody.